This car started as a hobby, and now it's my life. Alright guys, good afternoon. What's going on? What's cracking? So I'm here with Tony right now. He's setting up the camera rig. We're about to take this thing for a nice test drive. I wanted to kind of do a review of this car and go over it in depth if I could. Do like a ride along, do a few pulls in the car, get some good noises out of it. I wanted to do something different, get out of the house. It is a beautiful day for the most part here, so I wanted to get out of the house and try to get some good shots with the car if possible. We just went to Cars and Coffee here, so we're done with all that. Now it's time to actually get this thing moving, because Tony, look at him. He's so excited. Look, oh, damn. Just from aesthetic wise, guys, this car is a Ridix Widebody. It does have the custom taillights here, the Ridix wing. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Ridix, however you say it. HKS titanium exhaust. This car is quite quiet though compared to my car. I thought it'd be louder because it's just straight 3-inch back to a 4-inch exhaust or cap back, and it's not that loud. It has Jeep SRT8 brakes. You guys can see that here. There's the rears and the bananas up front. I'm not the biggest fan of these. I love the fact that they're big brakes for a budget, but they look like giant bananas. I mean, they're off a Jeep SRT8, so I mean, obviously they are going to be bigger, so it's just a different look, I guess. But enough of me talking. Let's get in the car and let's get some cool footage. Okay. All right, guys. So going through my seatbelt on here. First thing that I can tell you is I'm not used to racing seats and getting in it and sitting sucked down in, and having manual seats. I'm used to my car, but this is a V160 car. So let's go ahead and, actually he has the clutch, what's that called, the clutch release, whatever, so you don't have to put the clutch down actually in this car, which is actually quite nice. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to drive this. So this does have a reverse lockout too. Let's see if I can get in it. There we go. Oh my god, this thing is 10 times easier to drive than mine already. The steering.
We're 5 feet.
Whoop, hood just popped up.
What?
I just watched it pop. So the first thing I noticed, like, god damn, the steering was super like heavy in this. But he has R888s up front that are super wide, and he has wide wheels on top. I think he's running like a 275 or 265 tire up front. So I mean, this is definitely. Woo!
You just gotta ride it a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta ride. I'm not used to it.
You gotta ride it.
Definitely not used to this. All right, a little bit of buckiness is.
The tune is still really rough. They really need to. Is this the section I'm not supposed to be talking?
No, you can talk. I mean, so we got Tony's off to the side over here. The car feels a little rough there, but it's not terrible. I mean, my car has way more quirky issues. Oh my god, the blow up in this thing is amazing. Oh my god. Dude, the noises this thing makes, guys, is phenomenal. It is much quieter than my car, though. That's the one thing I'm noticing right off the bat. And the steering, for sure, is way heavier than in my car. These R888s are super sticky and make this a little bit harder. One thing I tell you, though, it spools much quicker than my S366. The gas pedal, too, is one thing I'm noticing. This has an aftermarket, I guess you call it throttle line. And you can definitely tell there's some play in it. It's not as touchy as mine is, which isn't a bad thing. I'm just definitely noticing it. But let's give it a little bit of juice here.
And we're in lowest boost setting right now.
What's your boost setting at right now?
I'm not sure what its target is.
Okay.
But we're in the lowest setting. Let me see here.
Let him reach across me real quick.
Because I haven't turned it up. I just turned it up 2 notches. It's got 7 notches.
Oh, it makes all the right noises.
Does it sound like a flock of seagulls?
It does sound like a flock of seagulls. Give it a little bit of gas.
Good job, son.
So, another thing, guys, I feel like I'm just picking at the car, and it's kind of typical of me. One thing I noticed right off the bat here, the car is on 93 pump gas here again. It usually runs 85. When it went back to 93 here, it's just not running as normal. It just feels like the car was mostly spent in 85, and they really spent more time tuning it that way. The car still runs fine on 93, but it could be a little bit better. The one thing I will say good about it, though, I shouldn't say one thing, is the V160 is so much smoother So much smoother than my R154. And I know people say this thing's notchy and it's this, it's that. I personally think this thing is great. I'm having zero issues with it. The noises, guys. And I'm honestly a little shocked. I thought it would spool a little bit quicker than it does. Being a ball bearing turbo, being a 66, 67, I'm actually quite surprised how much lag there is, I guess I'll say. I thought there'd be less lag. I'm just kind of shocked. Let's put it down here. This is just in third gear, just a low boost car. That was only to 5,000 RPM. It seems about, I'm being honest, it seems almost like my S366 build up boost wise. Maybe it's just personal. It just doesn't seem like it's as responsive as I thought it would be. The one thing though, this car rides 10 times better than mine. There's no creaks, there's no cracks in the dash. It's not making weird noises like mine does. It's very tame. The car is very, very, very tame. Downshifting is much easier. The clutch is much easier to use. The car was done right. I would say 99% of this car was done right. I can't really find any stupid quirks that I don't like about the car. The only thing we can say right now is when you come down to a stop, you have to blip the throttle just ever so slightly. For some reason with this 93 tune, they didn't give it enough, I guess, idle air control valve. So when you come down off decel, it tends to want to stall out, but it's nothing major. On its E85 tune, that wasn't a problem just when it went down to 93.
And also on the E85 tune, it spools way faster.
Oh, I guarantee.
It's a whole nother animal.
Sure.
It's quite surprising. I got the car on an E85, so I drove it at least 10 times, and then I got a new ECU and went with a flex fuel sensor so we could run both. And ever since I put 93 in it, I mean, it's honestly like a turd compared to what it was before. I mean, it's just night and day difference.
Alright guys, we're switching over to GoPro now, so I do apologize if the audio is not quite as good. So the top is off. Hopefully with it being up on the windshield, this won't be terrible. But I'm going to let Tony kind of talk about the car here. I guess I'll put up my window too. Hopefully this helped diffuse some of the wind. But I'll let Tony go ahead and talk about the car here a little bit.
Yeah, so basically, I've only owned the car for about 6 to 7 months now. The owner was from Minnesota, and basically fell in love with the car, had to buy it. And the car's a 1998 original twin turbo V160 car. Basically the mods that are done to it is intake manifold. You have HKS 272 cams in it.
You can definitely feel it.
We have a RPS twin disc clutch. I know I'm kind of going all over the place with these mods in no specific order, but we also have a ICD 1300cc injectors, which are newer for basically they have stainless parts in them that don't basically oxidize for the ethanol.
Yep, they'll corrode over time.
It was originally tuned on a Haltech Platinum Sport 2000 for E85 only, and basically Ryan, watching his videos, really made me want to get an AM Infinity for traction control purposes. So I went with the AM Infinity right off the bat. Got the flex fuel sensor, so like I said, we can do both type fuels. The car put down on E85. We actually made 731 at 31 pounds. We detuned it to 707 at full boost on the E85.
Wow, I mean that's still good power, man.
Yeah, and the car is honestly scary at that fast. I mean, it goes dead straight, but it's just like a tunnel vision. I mean, like Ryan said before, people with 1,000 horsepower cars, 1,300, it's honestly unbelievable to me because 700 is just more than enough. So right now we're obviously on 93 octane, and it obviously scales the mat back and makes a lot less power. We're probably making around 600 wheel right now, which is still plenty of fun. But like Ryan said, it is a little laggy, especially off the ethanol. But unfortunately, where I live in Southern Maryland, there is not a lot of ethanol fuel. I mean, you have to go up to the city to get ethanol. So I really wanted to get the flex fuel tune so I can, bounce back and forth when I can find the ethanol.
And that's a good point there. Where I live here, we don't have ethanol. How far away did you say it was from you?
It's about an hour away.
So, I mean, he's kind of the same boat. The closest ethanol well, I shouldn't say that. We actually have it in Chambersburg now, where we were just at, which is about 25-minute drive. So that's not terrible, but before that, we had to drive an hour also. It becomes a pain. It really does. It becomes more work than it does fun.
And also, I want to talk
wanted me to pick the car apart, find every little detail, but that stuff I told you guys, that's it. Like, I can't, the car has so much done right. Like, the wide body is molded perfectly. I went under and inspected everything. They cut it right. They put seam sealer in correctly. It's all painted correctly. It just looks good. On the outside, the only thing we really noticed was the wrap they put on the clear bra. Whoever did it, you could just tell they didn't care. It doesn't make any sense because everything else is done perfect on the outside. The wheels look perfect. The body works perfect. The headlights are perfect. Taillights are one-off. I think they're a street glow or something, or I can't remember the company's name right now. But they're LED custom taillights. Like, everything is done right. And then there's just the weird wrap on it. Someone just kind of like gave up when it got to that point. It wasn't the last owner per se, but the shop just didn't care enough. That's just my opinion. But enough of me talking here. Let's try to get some car noises for you. This thing, I just wanted to test it. They stop, man. Oh,
she talks to you.
Oh, I love it.
She's just talking to you.
You can't get enough of this. Like, you guys know, I am very passionate about my Supra. I'm very passionate about my cars. I've obviously flip-flopped on selling it at times, but then when I get it today and drive it, then I drive someone else's Supra, it gives me drive to try and perfect it that much more. The coils in this thing, either the tires, coils, whatever it is, it just rides so nice. It has HKS coilovers on it. I think they're Hypermax 5s? 3s, or Hypermax 3s, and it just drives so well and smooth. And that's older style HKS coilover. They've been around, good Lord, for over 10 years.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was really, sorry to cut you off.
No, absolutely not.
That's one thing I was very shocked when I first drove this car, with the wheels being so wide and the car being low to the ground. I was very shocked at how smooth it rides. I mean, it's tight. You know what I mean? It's a little tight and bouncy, but it's not like cars I've had previous where it's just like you feel like you're bouncing all over the place. You know, it does absorb a good amount of the road.
It feels really well, honestly. And we're driving here. All I can see is burnout marks. We're heading up South Mountain Road here in little old Waynesboro, and there's nothing but burnout marks. To try and do a burnout on this would be a little sketchy for the fact that it is a stock V160, which is plenty strong, and it does have the 3.13 diff. The problem being, it still has a stock donuts in it that holds the diff in place, so that thing will be bouncing around, and that's a good way to detonate or grenade your diff. And number two would be the fact that the R888s on this thing are 335s. They are massive. It is a 13-inch wide wheel in the back, and if those things would dead hook, you're going to break something. Something's going to give. The donut on the drive shaft, something is going to snap, and we don't want that happening. Still just cruising up the mountain here. One thing I'm noticing, down low, it is much more responsive than my car, even on 93. Now, if we had E85, it'd probably be even better. That little turbo that's in this car actually does spool a little bit better than my S366. Maybe, again, it might just be my perception. Again, both our cars are on 93 right now at this moment. So that does change the way the car acts and drives. It's still just, I'm just cruising along here. So much fun. You can't get tired of this car. It's money well spent. This is a last year made car too. This is a 98 true white car, true 6-speed manual, low mileage. This is about as rare as it gets. I know there's Quicksilvers, the Royal Sapphire Pearls, which are very, very rare. But being a white car, being a black interior car on top of it, it is super rare in my opinion, and super clean being low mileage. It was definitely worth every penny he paid for it.
So I wanted to fill you all in a little bit of how me and Ryan even got to know each other, which it's kind of a full circle thing because he's actually the reason why I ended up getting this car. I've always wanted to get a Mark IV Supra. I actually used to have a Mark III, 89 Mark III back in high school. And I was just waiting my turn, waiting for the right moment, which never knew when that was going to come. But I found Ryan's channel, and he basically just started encouraging me in the way of giving me, I don't know how to say this. Basically, he made me feel comfortable to buy one when he said, hey, things to look out for when buying a Supra. That was like one of the best videos I watched of his that gave me the comfortability of like, hey, this is what I'm going to look for, this is what I'm going to check for, this is what you should pay, you know, this is the options you should look for. So then I just basically kind of chatted with Ryan before I bought it, just asking him like, hey, this is the car, these are the supporting mods, this is the asking price, what do you think? And he bounced some ideas off of him. At that point, we were just strangers. And from there, he helped me once I got it with a few issues. Thank God, you know, Ryan's so knowledgeable with these cars. He's been around Supras for so long. So his knowledge to me is invaluable, and I really appreciate that. Everything he's done for me. We actually spent.
It's making my heart melt right now, making me feel so special.
We actually spent all night last night up till 2:30 just hanging out and fixing little quirks on the car. And it's funny. It's like Ryan said. You know, it's not like he's picking on me because I want him to find these things because he's the best person to find them. You know what I mean? He's going to find them over anybody, and I want him to find them, and I want to fix them all. You know, I plan on keeping this car forever. So basically, we started talking online, and then it ended up he invited me to his barbecue, and then from there we hung out at the call out, and he helped me there when my turbo blanket caught on fire, and yeah, the rest is history. And basically that was last weekend, and we're like, hey, you want to do something this weekend? So I live in Southern Maryland, so I made the drive up. Him and his wife were nice enough to give me a place to lay my head, and we went to Cars and Coffee this morning, which was a blast. It was amazing to get to actually ride behind another Supra and just see what they look like driving down the road. It was an amazing experience, and yeah, that's about all I got.
I mean, dude, I'm so glad you came up. This has been a great thing for me. Hopefully this audio is half decent too. This GoPro should be good. We've got the windows up and this is here, but hopefully this comes out well. Like, it means a lot to me that he trusted me watching videos and then talking to me, that he used me as a knowledge base to help him buy this car, which this car is phenomenal. Like, I am picking on it here and there, but like, this car is phenomenal. It drives so well. When I'm throttling on right now, I'm just barely, and I can feel the boost. I mean, it drives well. It's not nearly as loud as my car, which I really like. The only thing I can hear is I definitely can hear the tires. You can just tell they're louder. But with it being a louder car in general, it just kind of null and void me. You're buying this car being a single turbo, making more power, realizing that's the kind of stuff you're gonna have. It's going to happen. You're gonna add more performance. You're gonna add more things that are gonna make a little bit of extra noise and creaks and cracks. But this car drives smooth. Like, I am off the throttle right now, and it's just so smooth. It's just mind-blowingly smooth and nice. I really wish I had a V160 now. It blips so nice, the clutch is nice. That was one thing he was a little like worried about, and I talked to him too. The clutch in this, like he said, is an RPS twin disc. When it had it, he's like, dude, I think something's wrong with it. And as soon as he showed up today, and we were talking about it before, he sent me some videos, the clacking and cranking and all that stuff. Well, when you have a twin disc and stuff, they tend to chatter. Now, this is a strapped twin disc, so it's not nearly as bad, but it still tends to chatter and stuff, which is just normal. It does suck though when you're at a car show, you're at a Cars and Coffee, like, bro, his car's messed up, man. Something's not right. Something's not right. When realistically, it's completely fine. It's just a clutch chatter, and a lot of people just don't realize that. Or you're trying to slip the clutch, and it takes a little bit more. Like, especially my car, like, it just looks like I can't drive at all. And it's the fact that that six puck, you can't. Anyone gets in and goes, dude, this thing is terrible. Which I know it is. Like, it holds all the power. It does not complain. It does not slip, but it does take a little bit more oomph and effort and a little bit of modulation to get it going, unlike this car, which I have no issues with whatsoever. All right, guys, so I want to hammer it here real quick. Second gear. Woo! Smell it. It just smells good. We're on the back road in Mexico, so I don't want to go too hard here.
The Federales might come out.
And we don't want that happening. I mean, everyone's going to say about the foliage and stuff, and this is a new part of Mexico you just haven't seen yet. But going through the turns here right now, it's just hugging. I want you guys just to hear the noise this thing is making. Flip the throttle and it goes down. And the top is off and it's handling well. I can't imagine what it handles with the top on. It probably 10 times better yet.
So does it feel like a little more stiffer than yours with the top on?
Oh yeah, dude.
Because that's what you said. It feels like it's like so loose, and like it definitely feels looser, but it doesn't feel like I've heard the rumor of like how it's like it's complete garbage after you take the top off. It still feels a little taut. I don't know how it's doing it. I don't know if it's from the strut brace, but you said you took your strut brace off.
Yeah, I didn't like the strut brace on.
It didn't make a difference for you, so who knows? It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. It ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's one of those things. I prefer it without it, but oh well. All right, we're in the car now. I'm letting him drive because he can hammer down here, and I'm letting him just go at it. Oh boy, I'm just holding the camera for you guys. Yes! 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 And it guys could just see my face smiling ear to ear right now. I fucking loved it. It's so much better when he's hammering because it's not my personal car. I don't want to be smacking on it like this. And he's making a little bit less power than I am right now, just in perspective.
We only made 13 pounds.
13 pounds of boost, guys.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it just, what are you revving to?
75.
She's revving to 7,500 RPMs, just about where I'm at too, guys. That just shows you how fun it is. Now, do you have your shift light? Is that all set up?
I don't know what it's even set to be honest. I didn't even know you could adjust it until you showed me that last night.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming Freed Engineering and set it up to whatever the red line is.
Right.
A little bit ahead of it, but I'm not sure to be honest.
So, all right, guys, I'll show you a little bit more here when I get back to the house. It's hard to hear anything. We're trying to get some exhaust noise for y'all.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight